Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm Harvey Freed. Alongside of me, Becky Alley.
Hey, good morning, everybody. We're happy to be here. We got a rock star in the house with us.
You can go ahead. It's Michelle Sayward, eXp Realty, the queen of all eXp real estate agents. Michelle, with 1 hour of unbelievable knowledge. We've already been talking about real estate and mortgages already all morning long. Why not just get you involved in the conversation? Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for that introduction. I love being called the queen. That's fantastic. So thanks for having me here.
You could be the king, too, if you want to be.
No, I don't want
that's
to
true.
today.
You can be whatever the hell you want to be.
Hey, we got Harry Glanz. He's on the line, too. Good morning, Harry. You're on the Zoomcast here.
Good morning, everybody, and how are you? And looking forward to having Michelle on. We had a great podcast earlier in the week on Wednesday with Michelle, and we're going to throw out some serious knowledge, everybody.
Yeah, definitely 1 hour of all mortgage real estate talk. If you're looking at buying or selling a house, this would be the show to definitely call at 248-539-9797. Having Becky, of course, always here takes a lot of pressure off. Becky knows everything about real estate. She's one of the top mortgage people in the United States, top 1%. And Becky, we come across a lot of things in the mortgage world. There's a lot of what we always say moving parts in the mortgage world. But the market's been extremely volatile lately. It's a little added twist to us. As we know, eventually, as the pandemic slows down, maybe it won't, but mortgage rates are very volatile, and it's been that way truly for the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, we've been very fortunate where the rates have been historically low, even more so than they've ever been. So when they're low like that, a lot of people have been able to cash in and take an opportunity, whether refinance or purchase, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why we got Michelle in the house, because she is, like I said, you can't say enough about Michelle. Right now, she is, not only is she a self-made real estate agent, but now she is building her own empire. So if you don't know her, you need to know her. And, you know, she can get you in contact with some of the best agents nationally. I mean, she has, reached out to California, South Carolina, you mentioned, all over the place. I mean, so she knows how to, who to get you in contact with. So even like when you're buying these second homes, it matters who you work with and who you're associating yourself with. And one thing for sure is that these housing prices are not going down.
No, absolutely not going down. There's no reason why they should. And you're absolutely right. Even for outside of the metropolitan Detroit area, if you want to be put in contact with a top real estate agent with our professional recommendation on a national scale, and I'm working the international scale. I got a little bit in Canada and starting to have some reach in Costa Rica too now, apparently. This is how this is going.
Take me to Costa Rica.
But, So reach out and then get that recommendation and referral, because who better to put you in the hands of a professional than a professional?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so that's exactly how that works. But you're exactly right. There is no indication that the real estate market should be coming down right now. We're in sort of this sweet spot because the holidays are here. And the average days on market right now, we're at 26 days on market, but the market's not as hot as it was in the spring, summer. So if you're looking to not be competing against 20 offers, maybe just compete against 3 or 4, you're definitely in a better position right now to get into a new home.
Michelle, I was going to throw this at you. We always talk about the housing inventory, and we know it's been on the all-time low, of course, how homes are getting eaten up. We talked about multiple bids and just trying to get a house offer accepted. But something that's really caught my eye recently as I've been watching a little bit more HGTV is maybe changing people's what they're looking for in the house. Like, you can really change a house by knocking down a wall or two. And I think that's coming into play a little bit more where, look, save up your money, because maybe you won't find that exact house you're looking for, but you can turn that house into what you want it to be.
My goodness, I'm in the middle of doing this myself right now. You have like an eye on me or something?
No, I don't. You're the one with the fortune cookie. We'll talk about the fortune cookie later. Yeah.
I literally I'm adding closets in my walk-in right now. I'm gutting my master. I ripped out a fireplace. It's crazy kind of conversation. Ripping out a fireplace? What the heck are you doing? Well, just to give me that logical use of space is what I'm doing it for. But yeah, you can really just, take some time and maybe hold back some of that money that you would have, just towards renovations or constructions, just to help you get what you want. There's limited inventory out there, folks. So if you're finding that sweet spot location and you've got like maybe the perfect school district for your family, or, something that's really attractive to you to be in that community, whatever it is for you, then you might have to make some concessions on what it is, the style of house, and do some improvements. Look, there's so many different home interior decorator designers. Go on Instagram, look at some cool pictures. That's what I did. Hired my designer from that point forward. But people are doing some really, intuitive and
Intuitive, I like.
Or whatever.
Ingenuitive. We'll
whatever.
we'll just mesh it together.
Meshing words together.
Ingenuitive.
Yeah. Things right now because people are looking for different career paths. So, somebody who was in a line of work that was not a decorator before is now a decorator. So there's certainly things that you can do in being creative. So bring them into the conversation when you're looking at houses.
Like, I want to talk about that. So someone is I'm big on goals. I write my goals down every year, right?
Yeah.
And then I dig them out. I've been doing it since I'm 18. And then I look and see what I checked off and then what's on my rollover list, right? So Hawaii's been on my rollover list since I was 18. I'm finally about to knock that bad lad off, right?
Right.
But so let's talk about it in pertaining to home ownership. So someone's reaching out to you. They make a decision. I want to own my own home. I'm sick of these rents going up because obviously it's no secret. Inflation is touching everything from milk to clearly rent, right? So now we're here, you're end of 2021, 2022, right on the cuffs. You're setting your goals up. Someone reaches out to you for the first time. What is that first part of that conversation when you're like, I don't know what to do, Michelle. Where do I even start?
Well, that's where I say you call Capital Mortgage Funding.
Yeah, girl.
I say you get your pre-approval underway.
Yep.
That's exactly the first conversation. It's like, okay, let's take a look at the finances. Let's open that up and making sure you're doing your homework. Really, it's more than just, it starts with even bigger than talking to the mortgage company. It starts with doing like a real analysis of what are your bills every month? How much are you spending on your car payment? How much is your car insurance? What do you forecast utilities would be on whatever square foot kind of house that you're looking to buy? Like, you really have to look at your total budget. I have nieces, they're in their young 20s, and
I love the nieces stories.
Yeah, they were looking at like renting an apartment and figuring it out for their first go, and they're like, well, we think we can afford. I'm like, whoa, how much are you really earning? Like, let's back that up. You can't consider overtime all the time, sweetie. Like, you need to, so having that kind of conversation. Those are some of my favorite conversations because there's education involved in that.
Well, because you have to have you have to be very honest, right? So then the first thing for sure is the pre-approval. So a lot of buyers out there, they want to still find the house first, then pull the credit. You can't do that anymore in this competitive market. I can't say that enough. I can't say that enough on the phone, even on air. You have to have your financials in line. But even if you're looking at making it, I'm talking to someone, they're not planning on buying until October. I talked to him literally last night for like 2 hours, literally been as detailed as I could humanly, because they're very nervous and they're afraid about their credit, and they're afraid to have their credit pulled because they were afraid I was going to see some things. I'm like, well, it's better I see it now, or anyone see it now, so that way we can come up with that game plan. And that's what you're talking about, is people think that their credit is worse than what it is sometimes, and sometimes they think it's better than what it is. And credit is everything when you are trying to secure a loan.
Can you do me that favor right now and tell the listening audience about checking their credit and doing some, comparison shopping when it comes to mortgages, and what that does or what that doesn't do to harm them? Can you please share that?
Okay, so online lenders are not always your friend, right? So if you're going on some random website and they're like, oh, well, I saw like 1.99, right? You're not hearing all the details, and the details the devil's in the details. So when we pull your credit, and if you're using online credit monitoring, it's free. It is not the same as a true credit report, right? Here, it's not. It's not even close to being the same. So when you're looking at your whatever that site is, you're seeing sometimes it's higher than what we are pulling, because we are getting a true average all the time for your life of your credit, not just what you did 2 days ago, right? So when you're pulling your credit, that is everything, because it allows us to identify what you need to focus on. And sometimes paying off $100 on a credit card will do more of a benefit for you than you paying off this $5,000 credit card and keep more money in your pocket. Right. So it's about allowing us to have that conversation and set you up for success. And if you're doing it last minute and you're working backwards, you're doing yourself a disservice.
So what I run into, sorry.
No, you're good. Go for it.
So what I run into is that people will go online and get their pre-approval online, and then I'm dealing with a lender that I don't know when they come to me sometimes. Like, they think they're going to be proactive and do this work themselves, and they just, click a few buttons online. And then they're concerned because I say, you want to work with somebody who's, reputable and local and understands the market conditions and really what's going on. And then they say to me, oh man, but I don't want to switch gears and talk to another lender right now. What's that going to do to my credit? But what does that do to their credit if they're like, getting two lenders to look at
I
their
see what you're saying.
report in, a 30-day period or something.
So
Is that
there is a little bit, it is going to show up as an inquiry, but you do have a little bit of a break where you are allowed to shop for mortgage lenders. So if you have your credit pulled within 30 days by 3 different people, I wouldn't have it more than 3. It's not going to have that negative impact on your score. It will show up as an inquiry because you have to know who's looking at your credit, but your scores are not going to be dinged like multiple times for these because there's a difference between you having your credit looked at for mortgage purposes and you going to Lowe's and Home Depot and comparing their 0% interest credit cards.
Basically, they're being looked at as an intelligent consumer,
Correct.
doing some comparison shopping and doing their due diligence and their homework. And it shows as an inquiry, but it's not going to drive down their scores.
Does not drive down their credit scores. And again, I like what Becky went with. She said, hey, wait a minute, there's a difference here between a consumer credit report and a mortgage credit report. Folks, you got to call the experts and keep it local. We're up against our first break, but when we come back, we want to hear from you. 248-539-9797. Keep it here. Already, we are back here live in the studio, 916. Gorgeous day outside. Of course, we got Michigan football. It's going to be broadcast on WWJ, the brother or sister station on the FM dial 104.3 WOMC. The Michigan game tonight starts at 7 o'clock here. Keep it on Odyssey Radio. Of course, we've got a full day of sports lined up with Pat Caputo after us, Jim Costa, Rieger a little bit later in the afternoon, and Red Wing hockey. So, of course, before all of that, mortgage and real estate talk, as we've done and going on our 23rd year. Of course, we've got Harry Glanz on the line also. Harry, mortgage rates, as we talked about, they're a little volatile. We want families to get out there and, boy, take advantage of these great low interest rates. Still, so many families could take advantage of a refinance.
Yeah, mortgage rates are always volatile, Harvey, but I have to say that they're extremely low right now. And, Harvey, you and I, we talk to clients every day, and we had a client on the line. And, you know, if you're waiting for rates to go to 1.5%, it's not going to happen. And all these things, like Becky said, 1.9 on the internet, really not going to happen. You got to lock in your rate now. Rates are going to go up. That's a fact. They cannot stay this low forever. So whether you're purchasing a new home, refinancing your existing home, you got to call 1-800-LOW-RATE, and we'll put you in the best mortgage possible.
Yeah, I mean, rates are about, I would say, I mean, if you were to look at it this time last year, they're about, I don't know, a half higher, I would say, you know, pretty consistently, but they've gotten worse and then they've gotten better over the last 2 weeks, right? So, and it does seem that this new COVID strain is also created a little bit of a break in these rates over the last 2 weeks, but you're right, like, why wait? Because here you are in this moment where we know that the Fed is going to start tapering these rates, and how they're going to affect them in 2022 is unbeknownst to us, but you have to assume they're going to go up, right? So if you're thinking...
They've already said that, Becky. They've said that they're going to taper. They've already said that. And to Michelle's point earlier, here's what's going to happen. It's a math equation. We talked about it on the podcast earlier in the week. It's a math equation. There are a lot of buyers. There aren't enough houses. Prices are going up, supply and demand, and it's going to continue through 2022. It's just going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Want to throw this at you, Michelle. You want to sell your house in today's market. There's a lack of inventory. Of course, you're going to be buying another house. Qualified listing agents. I see a lot of the agents now that are offering some great stuff. The free videos, home staging. Mm-hmm. So real estate's really made an interesting twist over the last couple of years where even the listing agents, it's just not, here's the contract and please sign with me and I'm going to list you in the multi-list. There's a few other facets that have made real estate a little bit more exciting, even on the seller side.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, it's things have changed so much. I've been doing this 20 years, right? I mean, when I started off doing this, it was with a pager, and now we're getting like the bulk of our exposure online. Online. I think I got my first email address when I was like, or pretty close, business email address when I, 20 years ago when I got into real estate. I was like, okay. And now the bulk of exposure is coming in online. So yeah, I mean, it really is important that in hiring the right real estate agent that you've got someone that is forward thinking. So if you're interviewing multiple real estate agents for the job, it's really important to start asking questions if they, what is their daily schedule? What's their commitment to education, training, growth opportunities? What are they doing in terms of technology? What is the plan of action? And it should be outlined. You should have like something in writing from your real estate agent about their marketing plan. It really just shouldn't be well, aren't you just the sweetest little thing? Sure, I'll sign with you. You really should go a little bit deeper because ultimately you're going to be paying for what you get. And across the board, there's not a huge differential in the cost of real estate agents. There's not. For 100 years, the fees have pretty much remained the same for 100 years in real estate, right, guys?
No, you're right.
So really do your homework and find out if your money could it be being put to the highest and best use in terms of marketing dollars, education, training, how the agent is going to treat you, what's the expectation of the agent, how are they going to update you, what is it that they're doing to, really not be complacent in the transaction? Are they going to be a proactive agent, stay on top of the numbers, know their statistics of what's going on in the marketplace? What's the agent's days on market compared to the marketplace? What is it that they're going to be doing differently to sell the house?
I mean, the bottom line is that you want to make sure that if you're hiring a professional, that they have the time to speak to you, right? 100%. And there's some agents that are part-time. And, I'm dealing with a couple transactions where I need to speak to the agent, and I ended up just having to circulate an addendum myself because I could not physically get a hold of them to get, certain things done. And, so who you hire does matter, and who you surround yourself with. It's even personally and professionally, right? You're guilty by association.
Yeah.
And sometimes that if you align yourself with the wrong people, you're like, ooh, I feel like I made a bad decision, right? I even have so for example, I have a friend of mine who's talking about doing a for sale by owner. And I was like, listen, do you really want to deal with that hassle? Do you really want to have all those phone calls when you're trying to get in and out of the house because someone wants to see it? And then you might leave money on the table because you might feel bad and not, obligated to take a lower offer because you know the person. I mean, there's a million different things, plus that exposure that you're talking about, that free exposure.
Yeah.
248-539-9797. I definitely want to hear from you. We're starting to talk about the little differences between who you're hiring and how important that is. One of the things, Michelle, if I can sort of segue this back into the real estate mode, is that qualified listing agent comes to your house and really breaks down the seller and says, look, so you have a homeowners association.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything going on I need to know about? Like here in Oakland County, we got a lot of lake privileges and these sort of, we're not sure, can I put a boat in the water? Is there a waiting list? And I found just recently in a transaction, boy, what a selling feature to have lake privileges. As we know, it's been impossible to get a pool built, to find a house on the water. These homes are getting eaten up, real quick.
Yeah.
And families are looking for that type of fun house that has some additional amenities. And these amenities add value to the home. And boy, I see all the time where it says in the smallest print, maybe some lake privileges or something. These are things that you can really put together and use to market the house properly.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Becky was just talking about even selling by owner. Sometimes people that are even selling by owner don't even know what they have, and yeah, I mean, having the right presentation to a property or knowing some of the ins and outs of the deal. Like you just mentioned homeowners association. Do you know how often
What's that?
do you know how often we've got to a closing table and the homeowner on the other side said, what is this fee I'm being charged by my association? And if you're selling by owner, oh, surprise, guess what? Sometimes there's a payoff that you're going to have to do to the association. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there's a fee for those bylaws. Sometimes there's extra charges that people don't even know to look out for. But yeah, getting it presented in the right way is key. And I also want to address that, what Becky said a moment ago about selling by owner. If you talk to any appraiser, I didn't say real estate agent. If you talk to any appraiser, they're going to flat out say how much money is being left on the table as a result of selling by owner right now, because you will miss out on the exposure. Exposure. Who cares? Anyone wants to buy my house. My neighbor wants to buy my house, Michelle. My cousin wants to buy my house, Michelle. Exposure, I mean the public. Mm-hmm. The group of people who have money is bigger than the group of people that you know. I promise you that. If there's 100 people that came to your wedding, Becky, there's going to be, 10 million times more people out in the public that have more money than the people that were invited in your little, into your banquet hall, right?
Yeah.
So just reminded me, I forgot to bring Becky's response card for the food, Becky. Son of a gun.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, I didn't say you're getting married or anything.
Text me. Yeah, you just
there we go.
No big deal.
But I'm just saying that you're going to be driving traffic through, and when you have more people coming through, the greater opportunity to get more offers. So it's just a very interesting situation with people leaving that kind of money on the table and multiple offers.
Okay, so to put that into dollar perspective, I have a for sale by owner. Obviously, we got the appraisal, came in 150. The sales price is 80.
Oh no! Oh no!
Can I buy it for 90?
I mean, it was talked about in the beginning, but it's they know each other, and it is what it is. But that is a true, that is Bible, what we're talking about. It happens every day. We see it every day. And that's why if you're thinking about, shaving that $12,000 in commission you might pay, that could equate to $20,000 you left on the table in addition to that.
I mean, that's a very extreme example. But
it is very extreme, but it did happen.
Even if it's 20 grand.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
I don't know. I like you, but I don't know if I'd give you 20 grand.
No, you're not going to throw that away. Due diligence on homeowners associations. And again, let's segue that into condominiums, because you might be able to even go to the next meeting of the association before you close on the house. You also can get their minutes, their budget.
Yep.
These are really important things out there. I got a lot of condo purchases. I'm like, do you get a copy of any of this? Zero. I'm telling you, you got to have the top-notch agents on there.
Oh my gosh.
So there's not a surprise party 2 weeks after you close on it and find out they're redoing the roads and you owe a couple $1,000s in assessment. So really just to keep the money in your pocket is what we offer here on the show.
Yeah, we're here always. I mean, we can't preach. We preach the same stuff sometimes, but it's because if we're even just connecting with one person this one time, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. That applies to me. That's all what it's about right here, and just getting you in contact with all the right people. And we're obviously going to talk to you more about that when we come back.
All right.
248-539-9797.
We'll be back. Alrighty, welcome back to the show. It's a Hardcore Mortgage Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289, Equal Housing Lender. Always the best, most experienced loan officers at Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE. That's 1-800-569-7283. Always all these numbers. Michelle Sayward, eXp Realty. Always great to have you in the top 100 of all, like 69,000 eXp agents.
Which snaps for you, girl. I'm all about, I'm always clapping for you. That's so good.
Thank you.
She just keeps growing, but hey, nothing but a lot of hard work, honesty, learning what it takes to really work someone through the home buying process. And I was in my closing of my cousin's yesterday, so much fun on 3 houses. I was joking with them. I think he inspected all of the homes in Oakland County between a certain price range. But yeah, sure enough, a lot of homes had problems. We finally found one. It fit him and his girlfriend, soon to be married. They love it. They closed. They're happy. They're going to start building equity because, isn't it true, guys? Won't prices creep up a little bit here right after the new year?
Oh my goodness! Talking about home prices creeping up, and it's interesting. Like I sold a property to a guy that he did something unique. He bought it as a second home, and he rented it out to the seller because they were building new construction. And in the 9 months since he was able to move into it and their new construction was done, he went up I think it was something crazy, like 10% in equity before he ever even owned it or moved into it rather. So yeah, people are really building equity right now. These home prices, I looked at the statistics. I have them in my hand here. If you look at all of the counties in Michigan, all of them, there were only 2 counties that showed a little bit of a downturn in terms of sales volume in 2021 versus 22. And when I say a little bit, I mean, it was like a differential of 10 homes or something different over 2020 to 21. So it's the inventory is low. The number of transactions is still really high, which makes for an interesting scenario, right?
It is weird when you think about it, where it's
the velocity is so much faster. The average days on market right now, we're dropped down to 20? I just wrote this down. 26 days on market, I believe, right now. 26. Man, Michelle, you're good. 26 days on market right now.
That's the average too, Michelle. Those nicer homes are gone in a week.
Yeah, right. So that doesn't count for those properties that, started off a little bit too aggressive on pricing. Like maybe they listed it for 300 thinking they could push it to that. The reality is, if you're thinking that your home is worth 300,000, if you price it at 290, you're going to get 310. Right. So if you price it at 300, you might not get people coming to look at it. So the key right now is pricing it just a little bit low to really drive traffic and up that price. That's what the majority of homeowners that are smart about it are doing. If you put it up at a price that's just a hair over fair market, people are so trained for the past 10 years of buyers to pay asking price or better for a home in a multiple offer situation. And that's exactly what they're expecting when they walk in the door. So my sister is renovating one of her rental properties right now. We're going to put it on the market before we go to Hawaii together with Becky, I guess, whatever. Before we go to Hawaii on her honeymoon with her. I don't know. And it's so weird. Time. Anyway, and she's renovating her rental property right now, and we're having those conversations about pricing it a little bit low just to drive traffic and get it gone. Because she wants to be in a situation where she can pick, quote unquote, I call it the shiniest little, fat puppy of the litter. She wants that really good quality buyer that she knows is going to get to the closing table. And the best way to get that kind of a buyer is to expose it to the market and drive and get as many offers as we possibly can on that so that we can
35% of the homes have gone over asking price. So it's definitely competitive marketplace out there, and securing maximum profits for sellers across the United States. That's what we're seeing, but they've got to buy a house too. Becky, let's throw that out there. Increase in the Fannie Mae conforming loan limits, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac conforming loan limits has also driven up, as we know, the FHA loan limit. The FHA loan limit, $420,680 now. Becky, if you're a smart real estate agent with a smart team and you got your loan officer, you can work some sellers concessions in on these FHA nows and really get creative. Again, we're coming up with ways to get more first-time home buyers into homes.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is that lending is not looking to keep people from home ownership, right? They're looking for creative ways to help people buy homes. But now it's different because the underwriting guidelines, they are comprehensive, and these are good loans. These are good loans that are well underwritten, well qualified buyers that are getting these loans. So it's not like there's bad loans out there, but they are looking to help people. And if you think about it, you can get an FHA home for, what is it? $420,680, 3.5 down with a 580 FICO score. Okay. That is insaneness. That is crazy. And that it's even more in a testament to what Michelle is saying, that these housing prices are not going up, and Fannie Mae and FHA, they are conforming with what the market has been doing. I mean, you're talking about a $230,000 increase in the last 6 years.
It's
yeah,
a
the
lot.
numbers are staggering. And then also rents are going up. We see it all the time, Michelle. Rents are going up,
Yeah, they are.
increased 1.2% just from last year. So if you're a landlord out there, yes, you're going to go and maybe see if you can get another $100, $150 from those current tenants.
Yeah, the rents have gone up, and demand for rental housing is it's really woo. You think it's hard to buy a house? It's just as hard to get a property to rent right now. The demand for rental properties is really high. I consulted with a property manager recently when I listed one of my rental properties, and I was shocked how much more money he was suggesting that I could get for it. Really, I thought he was like $300 higher per month is what he suggested, and you know what? He was right for what he could get, and the quality of the prospective tenants that I'm getting. I can be pretty damn choosy right now for quality rental properties. This is just the nature of where we're at. It makes me wonder, where are all these people? Where were they living before? Because they're
Exactly.
certainly living in real estate now. They're living in new purchases and rental properties. If they had like maybe a layover on a divorce or something until they're kind of get their dust settled and figured out along the way, but yeah, I really don't forecast many of my tenants being in their properties very long because interest rates are so good right now. And you can own for less than you can rent, which is just absolutely significantly less than you can rent.
I want to throw out there why it's so important. Harry, please join us with this one too, is why it's so important to really get a true pre-approval is because there's things, it's just not the credit report. A lot of times we'll meet a family, Becky, and then all of a sudden there is an IRS tax lien, and that also is another $300 a month in debt that they might have, or there's some back child support. There's other things that pop up that if you're just calling around some willy-nilly, like you said, all over the country, they're popping up. They don't even have an office.
Smoking
They're
a
working out of their
pancake
home.
mortgage lender.
Exactly. It's insanity. And again, these people are setting themselves up not for success. They think they are, but they're not.
Yes. Okay, so it's relatable. Dealing a first-time home buyer, there is a tax lien that came up. They filed taxes, but they amended them, and I had the wrong taxes, so I'm looking at income that's not correct.
Oh, girl.
I get what's filed with the IRS, and everything has to be totally changed, and it's not their fault. They didn't know. They didn't know gave me the wrong tax returns. I didn't know I had the wrong tax returns till the IRS said, you got the wrong tax returns, Becky, and I had to change everything, and there was a tax lien, so now that was another $800 a month that we had to qualify for them. So that put me in a corner where I'm now having to work backwards. So that's why when we're talking about having these conversations in the beginning, they are key, because not every lender is going to be able to take that information, digest it as quickly as us at Capital Mortgage Funding, or even another professional. Some people are out there that are good enough to where they can take that information, digest it quickly, and find resolution. And it's important for you to find those kind of people that you're working with, because that's the difference between getting these people in the house, and we are going to close now.
I think that's the human element that is that it's not just plug and play online, pre-approval. That's the human element. That's where the education, training, background comes into play, and that's where it can make the difference in closing that transaction.
Yeah, you got to find the thread and not get
100%.
lost in the shuffle. You got to see it from the start to the end, and all this other zigzag stuff is irrelevant. You just got to stay right in the thread.
Hey, Harry, generally speaking, I'll throw this out to you. The Midwest has generally been one of the least expensive places, the most affordable on that side of things, the most affordable housing in the United States.
Yeah.
Yes, it always has been and always will be, Harvey. We've got a lot of things going on here in the Midwest. What we don't really have is, all our properties that are on water go for a higher amount because they're not making any water. The coasts offer all the way down to Florida, all around through Texas, all the way up and around to California, through Oregon and Washington. The coastal areas always command the most amount of money. The bigger cities are there, too, on the East Coast, New York, Boston, Philly. And then you go to the West Coast, L.A. I'm not giving a geographical class here, but the bottom line, here in the Midwest, it always has been the most affordable. But like the ladies have said, the prices are going up. And what we have to do is we have to account for the number of homes that are on the market. And then what people have said, we have to set them up to win this deal. Well, we have a situation, Harvey, right now. I got a call, and it's the worst nightmare of a mortgage lender and a buyer that could ever have.
Uh-oh, lay it on us.
A buyer needs to sell their house to move into the house that they already have under contract. So what happened? On the other end, on the sale of their house, they were pre-approved by a lender, allegedly, and the lender has put them down 5 weeks of mortgage hell, and now that comes to closing on their new house, they never closed on the old house yet. they don't know when they're going to close on the old house. I don't know why that happens. I don't know why you can't tell when you first enter into a transaction if you're pre-approved if the loan is going to go smoothly or not. I don't understand that. That's the worst nightmare in our industry. They're under contract on a new home. They're supposed to sell their old home first. They've had multiple closing dates set, and nobody's giving them answers. So it's not only holding up the sale of their house, it's holding up the seller from selling their new home to our buyer. That is the worst nightmare you could possibly have in the mortgage industry.
It's immensely stressful to have that in a transaction where, and I mean, number one, it's quite amazing with so few contingencies on offers right now that the seller even took an offer contingent on them selling their house. That's a challenge in itself to get the deal accepted in that fashion right now. So just to have that kind of deal structured that way is it's amazing that someone's willing to wait on them, but there's no reason why.
As a lender, I offered to my client, I said, get the name of the lender and the contact information of the other lender. And as a lender, I offered to call the other lender so we could talk nerdy mortgage talk.
Yeah.
And I could get to the bottom of that. Of course, we can't disclose any personal financial information. I would not expect that other lender to do that for us. The however is, if I can go ahead and talk lender to lender, I'll be able to ascertain what's going to happen. It sounds like to me there was never a deal in the beginning.
Oh, boy.
And somebody led somebody to believe there was a transaction. So now you're going to have a seller that's going to have to put their house back on the market. You have a buyer that's not going to get into their new home, and you're going to have a seller that's going to have to go ahead and put this new house on the market, and our buyer might be stuck out in the cold. So you never know.
All right. Hey, we got a lot to share with you. We're up against a quick break here. 248-539-9797. Keep it here. Alrighty, welcome back to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Again, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm Harvey Freed. She's Becky Alley. Michelle Sayward, eXp Realty.
She is Michelle.
All over Michigan, all over the country. Michelle, of course, eXp agents have a unique thing where they have their group, their empire.
Yeah.
So you have connections all across the United States. Again, if you're looking to buy that second home, it could be in Florida, the Carolinas, anywhere in the United States, of course, you can reach out to a local agent here. And then you get set up with a qualified agent.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, I've been questioning some of the Florida agents. It's like, oh, my Lord. I always tell the Florida agents, look, if all the top agents from Michigan move down to Florida, you guys aren't going to be around anymore because we have some great, really sharp people here in the Midwest that really bring it. We're hardworking, blue collar, and they wake up and they're ready to go every day. Not this, I don't know, whatever's going on down in
Toes in
Florida.
the sand attitude.
Yeah.
I like that, though. It sounds relaxing.
I mean, in Michigan, we're grinders.
That's
we
what
are.
it is.
We are grinders.
Remember,
for sure.
Detroit hustles harder.
Yeah,
All right.
that's true.
248-539-9797. You want to join the show? Michelle, let me throw this out at you. One of the key factors in the last couple of years due to the pandemic was the desire to live closer to family and friends and maybe more space in a bigger home. When we talked about these outdoor spaces. In the past, it was the convenience to work and the affordability of the home.
Yeah.
That has sort of changed now as people are like, wait a minute, if I'm going to be, I'll pay a little bit more to have a nicer house. I might be at home here.
I'm going to go out on a limb right now, and I'm going to talk about what I believe about the future of real estate and what are the needs, because you're right. These things have dramatically shifted from what people wanted before and what they want now, right? I think that the future of real estate is going to be convenience and ease to work from home. That's already happening. That's already important. Outdoor space is paramount. So when, Harry was talking about like waterfront or, something like that, you need to have people want some sort of feature. They want land. They want proximity to a park. They want walkable. They want convenience is what they really want right now. So that has dramatically changed. Also, I'm seeing a real need and a sense for community. That has become another big factor in consideration for buying. What's the ease and convenience to other humans, essentially, or fun things to do or activities or, that kind of connection. And then also low maintenance. That's another big thing right now that people are really looking for is low maintenance. I think that just the demands that are put on people, in life right now, there's more and more things grabbing for our attention right now. So lower maintenance properties are definitely something that is on the uptick.
Well, good news out there too, guys. Typically, homes, obviously selling off the market. 87 to 90% of the people out there are using real estate agents, which is definitely good news out there. And we talk about this often on the selling side. If you're not working with a qualified agent, at least interview a few of them and find out some different, we've mentioned a whole bunch of them today, reasons why you don't want to leave that kind of money on the table.
Yeah, I mean, why would you leave $20,000 on a table? That's literally, if you were to say $20,000 on your kitchen table, are you going to leave it there? No, you're not. And the same thing goes with a sale, or even when you're reducing your interest rate. If you can save $30,000 over the life of the loan by reducing your rate, shortening your term, just because you can't see that money in your hand doesn't mean it's not there. Doesn't mean it's not tangible. Doesn't mean it's not cutting that, lining your pockets with it. It's just the interest that your money's making right now. And even what you were just talking about, the future of real estate, you're absolutely right. That is because at any given moment, you could be stuck in your house on quarantine right now because that is our new reality. And you're right. And if I'm going to be stuck in quarantine, I want to be stuck somewhere that I feel good about that space. I feel zen there.
Yeah, that's why I'm renovating. But that's exactly why I'm doing that. But, what you were just kind of talking about here, I just kind of lost it a minute ago about
the invisible money.
I'll segue out of that. Let me segue out of that. We'll come back to that, Michelle, because property tax bills came out on December 1st. Those are the winter tax bills. So a little reminder out there, even though you might have an escrow account, Becky, you still get that tax bill, put it away, double check with your lender to make sure that they might be paying those winter tax bills in 2021. Consult with your CPA and find out last year when your taxes were paid. Again, it's important. You can call the CPAs before they get really busy after the turn of the new year and find out if you have enough equity. Becky, a lot of families, they don't have the escrow account set up properly. They went to, again, these strange mortgage companies. I don't know what they're doing out there. I've had a plethora of calls. They're short on their escrows. Again, home values have gone up and your property taxes are going to go up.
Yeah, and the same if you're a buyer right now. So any buyer that's out there that is closing within the next 2-3 months, that winter tax bill is going to be due, and it's going to be your responsibility to pay that. So if your lender has not went over that with you and how that's going to affect your bottom line for paying that winter tax bill, that's now going to be your responsibility, not that of the seller if you're closing between now and February. And even after that, right, it's all you. So you need to make sure that you are fully aware of what your funds for closing are going to be, because you do not want to get in the 11th hour and find out you might be short $1,000 and you need to get a last minute gift or something like that.
Well, definitely a quick congratulations to all the families out there that borrowed and purchased a home recently. It's a lot of fun, and that's one of the things, just getting out there and going to some closings recently. It's still what really drives me to the business every Monday morning is finding out, who can we help next? And it's so much fun out there. You need shelter over your head. There's food. You're going to need to eat some food. You're going to need some shelter over your head. If you're staying here in Michigan, if you've got a solid job underneath you, definitely look at home ownership. If you had some credit issues in the past, reach out to the real pros out there and find out what you can do to fix up your credit. As Becky mentioned earlier, FHA 580 and above. We offer mortgages at 3.5% down, 580 and above. It doesn't mean that everyone's going to get approved, but if you've got a little bit of savings, you might be able to get a gift from a family member. Becky, home ownership is within the grasp of so many more people that are really renting right now.
Yeah, make it like your goal in 2022. Even if it's just starting that conversation, reach out to somebody and know where you're at. Set yourself up for success. Be specific on what you're looking for. What is the goals? What the spaces you're looking for, right? Manage your budget, like Michelle was saying. So many people, I want to buy a $500,000 house because I saw that someone was a goat herder on HGTV and they could afford this house, right? They do underwater basket weaving in their free time and they think they can buy this $1 million house. Those things need to be analyzed, and you want to be married to your spouse, not your house, right?
There
and
you
it
go.
rhymes. And
That's
it rhymes.
exactly
Real easy
right.
to say. Hey, Harry, jump in here. We're getting towards the end of the show with what you got going on today. We hear the dog barking in the background. We got Michigan football later. Harry, what else we got in mortgages and real estate?
Well, mortgage and real estate, Harvey, are really taking off. We're working with buyers all the time. We've got a lot of people going out today. It's a perfect day outside for people to go out and take a look at houses, getting calls. The pre-approval letters are out for the weekend. If you can't get a pre-approval letter on the weekend, you got to give us a call. We're issuing pre-approval letters all day today and tomorrow. We're working on the weekends like everybody else is. But got a lot of people in cars, driving neighborhoods and going to see listings right now, Michelle.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great time to get out. And again, this is the time. Holidays are upon us. So if you're looking to not be in such a competitive market, this is your opportunity.
Yeah, small window before the prices do really go up for 2022, as all indications are. The Fannie Mae put out there that they would probably go with the average of 7.4%, somewhere in that ballpark of appreciation. We've seen some huge numbers. Goldman Sachs, as I mentioned, had put out there that potentially 18 to 22% appreciation. These are huge numbers. Could you imagine you buy a house and then next year it's got another $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 in equity? Home ownership builds a lot of wealth, Becky.
Yeah, I think it was 18.5% from third quarter last year to third quarter this year.
Yeah, I mean,
in appreciation.
This is year over year change. We're at 14.8%. That's October to October statistics.
Okay.
So that's our local.
Now, do you think
here
that
in
some of
Michigan.
these overinflated prices artificially inflated some of that, or do you think it's was real and it just kind of made it happen a little bit faster?
No, I don't think that it's like an artificial. I mean, this is the real game that we're playing. Home prices have been going up for 10 years. Artificial. What would be the reason for artificial inflation? There's if anything, we have plenty of reasons with what's going on with in our world right now with COVID for there to be home prices that are sinking, people losing jobs and home values, declining as a result of that. And that certainly did not happen.
No.
So, here we are with another strain now coming out, the Omicron or whatever, Omicron and Finch. I think I don't know, whatever it is.
Like a transformer, sounds like.
I'll go with that as a joke.
It's a joke. I know. They're making up new names all the time for these different variants that are coming up. But So yeah, you would think, okay, the stock market did a little bit of a freak out on that one, but it doesn't seem to be stopping the real estate market. That didn't have any impact on it whatsoever. So there's no reason for that to change in 22.
Real estate's got wings of their own. It's just going to keep going up. And again, there's some doomsdayers out there, but so you got to be careful and be smart. At the end of the day, we talked about it. Can you afford the payment? It's a roof over your head. This is a little bit different. You're not buying a fancy Cadillac. Again, go out and definitely get one if you want one. But it's
But not
different.
if you're in the process of getting a loan.
Not while
Yeah,
you're doing that.
probably not.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
do not.
right.
If you're in the middle of buying a house right now, do not sabotage yourself. It's the holidays. You're gonna want to go around and get those 0% credit cards. You want to get those appliances. But if you don't own the house yet, you do not need to open the debt. You need to consult with your mortgage person to make sure that you are not putting yourself in a position to delay your transaction.
Alrighty, that music says that we got Pat Caputo coming up with sports and social commentary. Of course, 97.1 The Ticket will be broadcasting the Red Wings game later today. Let me go ahead and reiterate. The Michigan football game will be on 104.3 on the FM dial, so you can hear it nice and clear. And then, of course, on WWJ 950. So keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. It's going to be sports all day long. We want to thank Harry Glanz, of course, Becky Alien, our queen of all, Michelle Sayward, eXp Realty. You can find her downriver. Just punch in Michelle Sayward. That's Saward. Easy enough, and you'll have a top-notch agent to work for you. All right, y'all, be safe out there, and keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll see you next Saturday.
Thank you.